Coming up on Spartan Sports Report, 2 top 5 teams in the country clashed at Munn Ice Arena. Volleyball welcomed in 2 conference rivals looking to right the ship amidst a losing streak. And men's tennis competed in a high-stakes regional championship tournament.
Welcome back into an all-new Spartan Sports Report. I'm Maren Klein.
And I'm Elisa Luker. It was an action-packed week for MSU athletics with some history being made, new season beginnings, and Maren, MSU hockey had a chance at redemption from last season against a top 5 team.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Elisa. Number 4, Michigan State hockey hosted the second-ranked Boston College Eagles in a 2-game series over the weekend for the team's home opener and Munn Ice Arena's 50th anniversary celebration. Now the Eagles are a very tough opponent to beat that swept the Spartans last year before going on a run all the way to the NCAA National Championship game. Starting off night one of the most highly anticipated matchups in the non-conference slate in all of college hockey would start scoreless in the first period, but then Will Vogt, the sophomore for the Eagles, would get 2 back-to-back goals, and then the cherry on top from Oscar Jelvik right here in a new line between Gabe Perreault and Ryan Leonard. He would put the Eagles up 3-0 in the third period. The Spartans could not get anything going and would lose in front of a sellout 6,555 crowd for that anniversary. And determined on night 2 to come back with a stronger start, the Spartans would get it. Transfer Charlie Stramel would start things off for Michigan State, putting the Spartans up early, but then some costly turnovers would lead Gabe Perreault and Ryan Leonard to get breakaway goals and put the Eagles up 2-1. However, the Spartans had some conversations, moved some things around, and coming into the second period, just 30 seconds in, the captain, Red Savage, would score a goal on his new line between Tanner Kelly and Tiernan Shouty. However, Boston College would go on a power play, and Lucas Gustafson would get a goal, hitting the puck off David Gucciardi's foot to put the Eagles back up 3-2. But then Charlie Stramel, he would answer with his second of the night off a tip-off from a shot from Gucciardi to tie this one back up. And then finally, racing in off the bench would be Danny Russell, assisted by Carson Dorward and Nick Andrews. He would put the Spartans up with the go-ahead goal, 4-3. And then in the third period, Trey Augustine became a brick wall for Michigan State. 13 saves in the third for a total of 32 saves on the night. Michigan State would hold on and split the weekend series with Boston College, a 4-3 victory, and this would be Michigan State's first win versus Boston College since the 2007 National Championship game. This win marked the 600th in Munn Ice Arena, and Spartans head coach Adam Nightingale spoke after the game about the atmosphere of the crowd and the response from his players after a disappointing loss.
I thought that, again, the last minute there, you could hardly hear yourself think, which is awesome, and that's what we want. And, our guys got to make sure that, Friday night wasn't good enough. We got to make sure we play like that on every night. Doesn't mean you're going to win every night, but that's playing to our identity, and I think that's one that our fans have embraced.
Michigan State will go on to face the University of Windsor, Ontario on Friday at 6 p.m. for an exhibition matchup at Munn Ice Arena.
For their first home game in 3 weeks, MSU volleyball hosted number 3 Penn State for one of their toughest matchups yet. Michigan State was able to keep up with Penn State and tie the score at 12 apiece, but soon fell behind as the Nittany Lions took hold of this first set 25-16. Penn State started the second set with a 4-0 run, but the Spartans came back and tied the game 5-5 with this humongous block from game leader Akasha Anderson. A service ace from Nalani Yosia put the Spartans up 10-8, but Penn State took back the lead with a 5-1 run. Michigan State closely trailed Penn State and ended the set only 3 points behind, 25-22. Anderson had 2 kills and a service ace in the last set as Michigan State continued to fight, but a 5-1 run from the Nittany Lions closed the set 25-16. Anderson totaled a team high of 7 kills in the match, but it just wouldn't be enough for the Spartans as Penn State would take all 3 sets. The volleyball team took on another conference rival, Illinois, on Saturday night. In the first set of the game, the Spartans dominated, winning by a score of 25-15. Illinois had 6 service errors and 11 attacking errors in just this set alone. Heading into the second set, the Spartans failed to continue their momentum, dropping the set 25-19. In the third and fourth set, both teams continued their back-and-forth battle. Michigan State took the third set 25-20, and Illinois took the fourth 25-23. Now coming to the fifth and final set, it was really anyone's game, but the battle came to an end with Michigan State losing 15-8. Although it was a close 5-set battle, sophomore middle blocker Zuzana Kulig had a career high of 12 blocks. Michigan State volleyball is still looking for their first Big Ten win of the season. This weekend, they will welcome in Nebraska and Washington to East Lansing.
This past Friday, men's soccer took on 25th ranked Wisconsin at DeMartin Stadium. Senior Sean Kerrigan's 2 goals, both scored in the first half, were enough to give the Spartans a lead going into the second. Despite being outshot by the Badgers 12-6, MSU goaltender Zach Kelly kept his cool and secured his 5th shutout of the season and his 2nd against a ranked opponent this season. The Spartans finished the game with a 2-0 victory over Wisconsin. This would be the team's first time since 2018 that they have won 4 conference games in the regular season. Improving to 5-5-2, Michigan State will head to Bloomington to face the Indiana Hoosiers on Friday.
On Thursday night, the women's soccer team faced the Oregon Ducks in Eugene, coming in on a 9-game unbeaten streak. Michigan State is now the only team in Division I without a loss this season after previous undefeated Utah State and Iowa fell Thursday night. Michigan State was on attack early in the game with a shot on goal in the first 31 seconds. Michigan State and Oregon were battling throughout the first half, and in the 24th minute, a yellow card was issued to the Ducks as the Spartans go on offensively. In the second half, the Spartans dominated in ball possession, earning 2 corner kicks, but Oregon stayed strong as Michigan State was unable to put the ball in the back of the net. It was a back-and-forth battle as time was expiring, but the game would end in a tie as both teams walked away with a point in the Big Ten standings. Moving on to Sunday now, Michigan State traveled to the Pacific Northwest to take on the Washington Huskies in Seattle. In the 8th minute, junior Sophia Beerworth sent the ball into the box, bouncing off the foot of a Washington defender and into the back of the net, resulting in an early lead for the Spartans. Washington was fighting Michigan State's defense, but the Spartans stayed strong. In the 21st minute, Washington was awarded a free kick by Loyana Papatheodorou, capitalizing on her shot, hitting off the crossbar and landing in the back of the net, tying the match. And she would be rewarded yet again with a free kick to win it 2-1 for the Huskies, ending Michigan State's unbeaten streak at 10 games. Michigan State is back in action on Thursday, playing Wisconsin at 7 p.m. in DeMartin Stadium.
Following a tight loss to Kent State, the Michigan State field hockey team had a tough challenge ahead against a 6th-ranked Maryland. Upset was the word going through every Spartan's mind during the early portions of this game against Maryland. The Terrapins were dominating early on, receiving multiple scoring chances on 5 penalty corners in the first quarter. And despite it all, MSU remained resilient, keeping Maryland off the board and taking advantage of its own opportunity as Lillian Knorr put this one home, giving the Spartans a 1-0 lead. Suddenly trailing, the highly touted Terps kept the pace, continuing to put the pressure on MSU defense. Maryland broke through in the second half as MSU's lead is erased on these 3 Maryland goals in just a matter of 5.5 minutes, and the upset was not to be as a 3-1 result. The second straight loss drops MSU to 6-6 on the season and 0-3 in conference play. This Sunday, MSU field hockey took on Central Michigan, and this time the team found itself on the positive side with a 3-1 game after Emma O'Neill scored twice along with another goal from Lillian Knorr. What a weekend for Knorr. MSU will now hit the road as the Spartans are set to take on Rutgers in Piscataway this Friday.
On Thursday, the women's tennis team traveled to Columbus, Ohio to compete in the ITA Midwest Regional Championship. Redshirt sophomore Oriana Parkins-Godwin put up a compelling fight, but ultimately fell short when competing in the singles qualifying match. Moving on to Friday, junior Mathilde Morais was dominant against her opponent, winning 6-0. This winning streak would hold on strong until Saturday, where she met her match, falling to Michigan's Emily Sartz-Lund. The weekend closed out with just one Spartan standing. It's senior Lisa Vivalainen, giving hope for a promising season after defeating her Bowling Green opponent 6-1 in the consolation match. The team will return home October 25th through the 27th to host the Michigan State Classic.
The Michigan State men's tennis team geared up to host the ITA Midwest Regionals this week. This will be the team's first time hosting since 2021, and men's tennis head coach Harry Jaden was very excited to get going as this tournament meant more future competitions, including the NCAA tournament.
So, there's going to be a lot of great teams. Obviously, you have Ohio State, who, was #1 in the country for the past, I'd say 6 months of the last season. Michigan has a great team. Illinois has a great team. We like to think that we have a great team. And, excited to bring in some some players for a great week of tennis.
Junior Ozan Baris was the star of the tournament. It started last Thursday, where in his first match, he defeated Peter Nad in straight sets. His next match was on Saturday as he took on Matisse DeBrew, winning in 3 sets, closing out the round of 32. On Sunday, Baris defeated number 16 seed Will Cooksey of Michigan in a very close 3 sets, winning the third 7-5. Then in the quarterfinals, he defeated his opponent, 11 seed Christopher Lee of Ohio State, with an impressive 6-1 victory in both sets. Continuing his dominance in the semifinals, the junior beat 12 seed William Mraz of Illinois in straight sets to move on to the final match. And after a long week of competition yesterday, Ozan Baris made history, becoming the first ever Spartan to win an ITA Midwest Regionals title, defeating Illinois star Kenta Miyoshi in straight sets. The team is currently competing in the M15 Winston-Salem competition in North Carolina and will be there until this Thursday.
Michigan State men's basketball started preseason play at Northern Michigan University, a place that was pretty familiar to their head coach. Tom Izzo played his collegiate basketball career for the Wildcats in Marquette, and that was the location of the Spartans' first exhibition game last Sunday. Aside from his own excitement for returning to his alma mater, Izzo was more excited to see where his team was at heading into this year.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. My guys, I feel like this last week have really turned the corner. I'm getting more play out of more people and more good play out of people that I needed to get more good play out of.
The new look Spartans were able to take control early at the Superior Dome, bouncing into a 20-8 lead, and they were able to ride that momentum to the final buzzer. The MSU scorers were spread out across the game as 11 Spartans got in the scoring column, including 8 of those players eclipsing 5 points or more. Freshman Jace Richardson led the Spartans with 11 points, followed by sophomore Xavier Booker's 10, to propel MSU to a 17-point victory, winning 70-53 over Northern Michigan. The Spartans will be back in action on October 29th at 7 p.m. versus Ferris State at the Breslin Center for another exhibition game.
The fall season for the men's golf team was cut short after the Quail Valley Collegiate Invitational was canceled due to the recent hurricanes affecting Florida. Competing in 4 tournaments this fall, the Spartans collected 2 top 5 finishes as well as 2 bottom 5 finishes. Michigan State will now have a 3-month break and start their off-season work before heading back to Florida for their first spring match in February.
Michigan State women's golf was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina this weekend for the Tar Heel Invitational. The 3-day tournament ended in a runner-up finish for the Spartans. In the first round, the team shot 6 over par, ending the day in a tie for second place, just 3 shots behind first place Kentucky. Moving into Saturday, the Spartans took the lead by 3 strokes after shooting a 3 over par. After the final round, MSU finished with a total score of 19 over par, with senior Brooke Bierman shooting an even par final round. Despite Bierman's performance, Michigan State fell to second place out of 17 schools. The Spartans will head right back to North Carolina to close out their fall season at the Landfall Tradition on October 25th.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another action-filled episode here at Spartan Sports Report.
For more coverage, visit all of our social media accounts below and visit the Spartan Newsroom website for more content. I'm Elisa Luker.
And I'm Maren Klein. Thank you for watching.